when it comes to, utility for NFTs, one of the things we always talk about is like, well, with games in particular, that's where some of the best utilities. That's where I love my NFTs to be. But it's hard for companies to, find ways to incorporate NFTs quickly and easily, incorporate tokens, incorporate those things into their game loop. There are very few products that are really working on that. Engine is obviously one of those. We've talked about Engine a bunch on here. But a new project that has popped up here in the sponsored segment is a company that I just started talking to called Insert Stonks. Now, at first, I'm not going to lie, man. I heard the name and I was like, no, nope, got to be a scam. I'm telling you, Insert Stonks, like, it just didn't ring with me, right? But,
I love the fucking name, dude.
I know, and it's funny, but it just did, like, but then when they described to me what they were doing with this product, I'm like, actually, man, no, you guys are on point there. Like, the name's not my favorite, but what you're actually trying to build makes a ton of sense. And so they kind of, for lack of a better term, they tagline themselves as, the Shopify for play to earn games, which essentially means, a turnkey solution for people to create games that incorporate tokens and NFTs. And that's essentially what they're doing here. Is that they're creating a whole ecosystem similar to what Engine is doing, where you have NFTs and blockchain as a service that you can incorporate into APIs. So they're doing this for not only Unity, but also for Unreal Engine, which has been one of the big things that I was telling, I always told Engine, like, you need to be able to get on all the big game engines, right? Like, and Unreal is one of the biggest ones. So, they're really focusing on that and providing turnkey solutions for you to be able to incorporate NFTs, incorporate tokens, do launches, but then do things like DAOs as well, all kind of wrapped into this platform.
So I'm going to post the name in the chat because I might say it wrong. Zanga Games. Sounds like Zanga Games, but for like blockchain solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Zanga had all these different games. They wanted to use the social network application of it. You make a game and Zanga helps you plug in all the social tools that you could use in social media.
Right.
Now we have Insert Stonks basically being like the Zanga for the blockchain solution, NFTs instead of like the social media side. This is going to be awesome arcade to see like people building things in. Like it would probably be like an indie social or an indie gaming market, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's essentially, a platform for you to be able to incorporate NFTs onto it, and then they can all be interconnected, which, is the same thing we saw with Engine, where it's like you got this multiverse of games, and they all have some sort of interconnectivity, where they're going to be doing that through this base protocol layer that you can build off of. And
I want to see what the guy from Flappy Bird does with something like this.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So you could take a game like that and quickly and easily incorporate, blockchain elements and NFTs and DAOs and other things here. And so they're actually they're doing a little game to kind of demonstrate the capabilities of this engine. So they built their own game called Road to Moon, which is going to be launching here pretty soon.
So they have a proof of concept coming out, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. So and they have an in-game token for the ecosystem, and all this is all on the Solana blockchain. Very interesting in the way they're going about this. Been hitting that roadmap pretty hard, but getting ready for some beta things here in Q1 at the end of this month. So
a quick and easy way.
And fully docs team.
Have it in the name. Oh, fully docs team. That's awesome. They have it right in the name. Insert Stonks. So like, I guess when you're playing, whatever game could be built on this, you could create your own token for your game, and you could use that token to buy a life or continue, or get a sword. Like, instead of I have emeralds and gems in like Zelda, instead of having Link deal in gems that he digs out of the ground, it could be stonks, these coins. Like, I love the ease of application of this, because when you see things not only that are like, you can do this and that, like, no, people can build off of this. It's like more like a trampoline.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. I love when I see trampoline projects where I'm like, oh, I know people that could use this today. I know people that are building indie games right now that are trying to figure out how to get a token or an NFT into it. So this is like an awesome solution to have.
And and to be honest, man, I'm surprised that we don't see more of this as a project. We like I said, Engine was kind of like the leader in doing this, and we've seen a couple other projects say they're going to do it, but they don't really focus on the protocol layer of really building out an engine to do so. They're usually like, oh, we're building our game first, and then, yes, eventually we'll have other games in our multiverse and our metaverse and whatnot. But really having products that do it from the ground up and are creating those APIs to
Yeah.
integrate easily and seamlessly with the top game engines. I'm surprised we haven't seen more projects doing that, because it really is that's the gateway, man. That's the gateway to get this technology to in the hands of game makers.
Yeah, I was talking about this on my podcast the other day. Enterprise solutions. We don't have
Yeah,
them. There's a
yeah,
Microsoft Office or Excel suite or whatever Adobe package. These enterprise companies can just use a package and their whole business can just streamline through that. We don't have that. But this is one of those ingredients that could become maybe not the enterprise solution that will be considered enterprise solution, but this is how we get to them. Things
yeah.
like Insert Stonks is what will get us to enterprise solutions where mainstream can now finally streamline their way in. But this is that early adopters opportunity still. We're still so early. We can compete with the mainstream big boys right now. So take full advantage of it if you're an independent developer for gaming, and check out Insert Stonks.
Yeah, and they do have an NFT drop coming soon. But just like I said, I think it's good to put a spotlight on something like this in particular, because I like seeing other people with that concept. Engine was doing great, but then they kind of had a huge lull for quite some time as they kind of figured out like, oh, Ethereum is not really going to work. It's not scaling well, and now they're kind of migrating over to Polkadot, which I think once they do and everything launches there, it's going to be great. But it's been a rough go for all the developers that were using their SDK and had incorporated blockchain elements that were Ethereum based. So hopefully something like this on Solana will help with some of the games there too as well.
We're also seeing a lot of pushback from the mainstream gaming world.
Yeah.
Even I forget his name, the dude from Steam, a couple people from Blizzard. A lot of these big companies have voiced that they're anti NFT. So even if they wanted to use those solutions, they're probably not going to until they see independent games adopt it and take off.
Right, and they'll change their tune quickly, just like we've seen time and time again. We've seen people say, "Oh, Bitcoin's a scam," and then 2 years later say, "It's the best thing ever. We're offering it to our clients now."
Jamie Dimon.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I said it, right? So, I mean, it happens time and time and time again. People, are then convinced, like, "Oh, I was wrong," and they admit it, and they then, like, "We knew you were. We tried to tell you. Come on, man. You weren't watching Stash and Bozak? Damn. You had, you would have known."
You should have tuned in, bros. You would have known.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know this is going to be a great opportunity for independent games and developers to be able to surpass the mainstream that kind of have a monopoly on gaming. It's either Sony or Microsoft. Nintendo barely has a stake in the conversation. That's how far the mainstream is strangled, and we're only going to see it get worse. Like I mentioned earlier, Microsoft out there buying up Activision and offering a lot of money for other, basically put it under one umbrella. Opportunities like this only come once in a lifetime, and for you game developers out there, maybe stop contributing to the centralized gaming worlds that are only being taken over and hostily taken over even, and start developing your own games. Be like, you don't want to be your own bank with Bitcoin. Well, you could be your own franchise with NFTs too.
Yep, true that, man. True that, and it's all coming.